Alright. Alright. Are we ready to go? We're ready to go. So, normally when Harp's heard this spiel before. Normally when I do coaching of full teams, I don't look over the draft too much. If people have questions over the draft, I'll make some comments on it if I see stuff I hate, but for the most part, I normally just let it roll. I don't think draft normally matters that much. I think it's a very common misconception that you lost because of your draft. You guys, I'm not good enough, you're not good enough to blame the draft. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think we lost that many of these games.
That's good. But I'm just a general preface. Draft blaming is a constant thing, so don't do it. It's almost never the draft's fault.
Easy copium though.
It's literally, if we're being real for a moment, it's literally just an excuse people give themselves to excuse their bad play. That's what it is. They're looking for an out. So if you catch yourself doing it, check yourself.
I blame Snow for feeding Doom multiple times. Once actually. Once I think. Because you use it when you're surrounded by people.
Okay. Last pick Doom is interesting.
We wanted to try it. Well, Snow said he wanted to try it.
So, my goal in coaching sessions for this MMR range is generally to get you guys thinking during the game. Like, actively thinking about things. Harb already is, sort of kind of trying to do it. But it's hard. The idea behind it being, if you are independently thinking about stuff during the game, it will be reflected in better gameplay. Or your decisions in the game should reflect what you're thinking about. I bet there's going to be 15 times in this game that I'm going to say you're not thinking. Or it's obviously that you're playing with your brain off. And I bet you guys could agree with me.
Do you see anyone challenging that?
I don't hear anybody challenging it, but it
came up with a pretty good game plan for at least some of the game. We had the idea, we're like, we gotta doom the Tinker, we've gotta find someone to disable the Tinker, and everyone else goes and handles the rest of the fight. And then every single fight, we couldn't figure out how to do it. We just could not figure it out. It was impossible. We were just like headless chickens during the fights, but before the fights, we had great ideas.
So that's a great point, because you guys are all pretty good at casting your spells, right? Like, you're divine, ancient, like archon, like maybe I thought you were higher, but it just doesn't matter. You guys know what your spells do. You can cast them appropriately, right? For the most part. The idea behind what I try and do is to get you to those ideal fights. So it's mostly map, it's mostly vision control, where to play, when to play it, why to play it. Harb's going to know the answer to almost every question I ask tonight. He's excited.
As will Fishy.
Fishy will also, yes, Harb and Fishy will know the answers to these questions. So, let's go. General laning setup, I think, is relatively fine. Offlane Shaker.
Yeah, they ran offlane Shaker 5 Nyx.
Oh, we're on the Radiant. That's right. 4 Tide? 3 Tide? Is this? Oh, so she's playing 4? Okay, I see. Okay.
4.
Okay. Fishy, what should he skill level 1?
You should skill Gush.
Thank you. Not saying you don't, but you should skill Gush in every single Tide lane. I'm convinced.
I'm the 3, so it's
He's
Tide
talking
3
to you.
here.
I am talking to you.
Yeah.
Yes. I think you should. I don't know what you skill, but I am of the strong opinion you should skill Gush no matter what. Because the nuke value and pressure outweighs any other benefit of these spells, especially particularly Anchor Smash, right? Anchor Smash will be super useful in a couple levels when the Jug's more of a threat. But level 1, if you Gush a hero, they have to run. It's as simple as that. So that's the mentality I like to approach laning with Tidehunter with, is that if I Gush a hero, they have to run away or they're going to lose the trade or die.
Yeah.
Right? That pretty basic approach. Nothing too crazy. I don't know jack shit about this lane matchup. I'm not going to lie. It looks like you just hit creeps.
Well, just rush Midas.
So I do think that this is the kind of lane that you can abuse getting more creeps than him and then getting 6 and diving him. That would be the thing that I identify in this lane, is that when can I ever pressure the Tinker, right? You're a Doom. It's pretty obvious. Level 6, right? If I think I have a timing, I need to try and get there as fast as I can so that he is weaker. When I am at my strong point, I feel strong. And our itemization should reflect us getting to that timing. And that's getting pretty crazy, but that's the general thought process.
Yeah, makes sense.
Bottom lane, you're double ranged against a melee ranged, which means that in our when we're talking about like what we're doing, we should just sit in the lane together as 2 ranged heroes and CS trade together. I think that's a really, really important concept, and it can apply to the offlane as well, where there are times when if you are a duo together, the enemy cannot do anything to you. Luna, Lion in this lane, they can never really go on you.
As long as you're together.
It's as long as you're together, right? It's easy for them if you get Fisher blocked or they get a cool lift into, they get some, there's potential for outplay, but if you two are together, your damage output is too high and you have too much control and peel for them to like run in and kill you. So that's like the advantage to your lane. And you don't normally contextualize it, or you don't normally fully think that out beforehand. So it's really important that, you think about that fact before. But obviously good to contest the pull. So vibing. Wow. Nice job. Cool spell. I don't know. You got a hood aura. That's pretty cool. He's stacking. Did you bring a sentry out? Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you didn't sentry the large camp?
I don't think there's any specific reason. Just didn't think of blocking it in this lane.
Okay. I'm gonna give you this. There are times where you don't do it, but I'm gonna have you do it every game for now. Just block the large camp. Whether it's a body block or the sentry.
All right.
It'll make your entire landing process easier.
Okay.
And we can get more if you have questions into specifically why, but it's too easy for them to have this camp in most lanes. Is the easy answer. I a lot of times like to start with 2 sentries on 5s, because then you can block the large camp and de-ward the small camp.
All right.
And we can see that when Shaker tries to do anything into us, he just can't do anything. We should be looking for opportunities to just stun the Earthshaker and hit him with our ranged heroes. That would be my ideal goal in this lane, is to just click him away from creeps.
Okay.
Top lane is vibing. Overall, though, all the lanes are going super well, so I'm not gonna complain too much. Hmm. So,
Fishing knows this one.
Yes.
what is the one thing that Soul Ring that is bad about Soul Ring?
It removes your health.
It removes your health. We have a couple
Felt like
tangos.
with 2 tangos left over, I could like kind of sustain until I got my hood, but
I
or my
think
ring of health.
you should always get the Ring of Health first.
Okay.
Always.
Before boots, before soul ring, just.
I
grab
think
all
it should
that.
be your first item. I mean, maybe boots first is fine in this lane because you're against Jug, but like boots, Ring of Health.
So the problem I would run into then is I might run out of mana if I'm trying to like use gush for range creeps or whatever. So would I bring out more mangoes as well then, or?
Mangoes, and then I think you can get a casual Sage's Mask in there.
Okay. Alright, that works.
I think that what Soul Ring gives you is not worth it until you have sufficient sustain.
Okay.
And I mean, maybe it nets you a little bit more farm if you're not getting contested and you have tangos, but I generally think the Ring of Health is better just to have. Because then you just feel like you can't die, despite you spamming Soul Ring off cooldown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? That's kind of where you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
But once you get both of them, it's completely fine. There's times where I think against better players, if you went for this, they'd recognize you have a Soul Ring low regen, and then they would just click you, and you wouldn't be able to sustain. So you wind up getting away with it, so it winds up working out just fine. And we're farming it up here. So I would be aiming Snowstorm to whenever I get 6, I want to be able to dive him maybe with Doom. That would be my goal. So we need to make sure we have HP and a way to chase it, and we maybe need boots in order to properly do that.
So I mean generally I agree with that, and in most matchups I would do it. But here I was just trying to rush Midas. Don't really. I mean the idea is not really to kill Tinker at 6, but just outfarm him with a Midas. Is that wrong, or would you say a killer is still worth it?
What do you think is more valuable? Getting
I
him,
think I-
getting. I'll lay out the 2 options. Getting a Midas, slightly more gold, right? Get a little richer, or solo killing the mid, enemy, your opposing mid.
Well, if I solo kill him, then totally worth it. But on the other hand, if I get a 5-minute Midas, that's pretty good too. I mean, of course, the kill is a slightly riskier option with more reward. But I thought Midas, yeah.
I'm of the opinion you should play to your hero's strengths timings. So, in my opinion, if you're playing mid Doom and you get level 6 and you aren't trying to Doom something, I feel like something is wrong. And I understand the mindset behind you. You just want to get super rich super quickly. But from the mid roll, I'm trying to think of how to vocalize this. You're the rallying point for your team. You and Tidehunter. Tidehunter can't really move, though. So you need to be able to one that runs onto the enemy side of the map and makes chaos. I think if you dove mid, for example, and you solo killed the Tinker, not only would you be more confident in what you can do on the map, but you're also then like 500 gold up on him, and then you get the Midas after, for example. And say you don't kill him, right? Say you doom him. Or, I mean, honestly, even if you don't go boots, even if you rush Midas and then you still just try and dive him with Doom, what does he have to do? He has to, like, run to base or something. So, I think this mentality of AFK farm is cool, but it's almost always better to pressure them.
Yeah, I mean, I think like optimally what I should have done is, yeah, I mean, get my Midas and then I mean, I should have asked for help because I felt I was always low health because of the Tinker spam. And yeah, like if I get a land rotation or something on a Dawnbreaker rotation, I think I can die. I think I tried it. Maybe. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I get it.
I think there's also
You can
merit.
find more. Yeah.
I think there's merit to also just buying a ring of health for your hero and sustaining the lane. And then you
So
play
one
to
of-
be super tanky early and then dive the Tinker with being super tanky. That's my train of thought there.
One of the things I do on like Mars is I will just like I'll recognize, all right, when I hit 6 or Brewmaster, when I hit 6 I need to have most of my health, all of my mana, you know, and so like you plan for that beforehand and then you go for the kill, because if Mars or Brew don't get a kill at 6, then you're just a useless hero and you picked the wrong hero.
I think a better way, Snow, maybe of thinking about it, if it helps you, is what is Tinker in terms of like his timings? Is he greedy? Is he early game centric? Like where would you place him on a scale?
I think he needs his blink before he starts running around killing.
Yeah, he needs to hit his timing. He's relatively greedy until then, right?
Yeah.
So if you didn't do anything to hamper his timing, doesn't that not only help you but your team as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand. I agree.
There are times where I think playing for your own game is fine. I just think rushing Midas on Doom without without any build-up items is like kind of griefing your potential to do something. That's all. Bum. But like overall, I mean, you do win the farm war, so I mean, I think. I mean, he's actually the same farm as you, so.
I don't have Midas yet. But I agree with what I'm saying. I understand.
Oh my Jesus.
Tinker cool hero.
So, alright. So, Harb is out. Our top lane is going very well. Our Lion is soaking bottom. I'm loving what I'm seeing so far. We've ravaged the 5 Nyx. He is deceased. I'm completely fine with this. Does he die? Okay, that doesn't matter. This is a good... I think this is good from Harb. Yeah.
We take the tower.
You make sure you get the tower. Completely fine. Your great rotation. Early game. This is pretty textbook so far. This is very good. So, big thing, Fishy. I like this ward. Try and get another deep ward somewhere in their jungle.
Yep.
Right? We talked about this, but...
I would have if I didn't die after killing that Nyx, but I didn't.
Okay. These words are these words are counterproductive, but
Okay.
I like the thought. The thought's there. These words kind of do the same thing as all.
I feel like if we have wards, so I guess if we haven't taken the mid tower yet, we kind of want them to be somewhere between, on that line between the tier 2 top and then tier 1 bot or tier 1 mid. Like if we're able to see there, then we can see the rotations. Yeah, that line.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
like
generally
that's a
you
good
place it
line to
like
have fun.
here or somewhere over here, but this ward does a relatively similar thing. It's just less reliable. Like you can still pretty reliably walk over here with these wards, right? It's just slightly scarier.
Yeah.
So I like the wording. So I guess the question is, don't have Ravage. So, you know, what is kind of our mindset right now? Do we want to take the mid tower? Do we want to farm? Like, what do we want to do?
Far.
Yeah, we ravage.
Why did you whisper it?
Because I feel like whispering, bro.
So we have no Ravage, so we don't want to take a full team fight, which means taking the mid towers out of the question. So that generally means we want to farm.
So we'd synth the Tide safe lane in order to just keep that lane pushed out, and then I remembered that Earthshaker hurts like a bitch, and immediately fed him. So
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
we had a better idea. We had an idea of what to do, and then we just did it wrong.
So I think your idea of going bottom is okay.
Maybe I should have stood mid.
I think you're just better off being mid.
I just didn't think about the Earthshaker hurting like a bitch.
I honestly, I mean, if I was tied in this game, I would. Let me go see what we see when you TP first before I say anything. I'd say, man, I have a Lion free farming in the bot lane. If I TP mid, maybe we get a Doom on the Tinker. We force them to be defensive. Now you can sit mid, and your Doom can just kind of farm this entire map. He can go top. Like,
yeah.
I think you being bottom makes your team play passive.
Okay.
I was the one who told him to go bottoms.
Okay, blame Harb.
But I agreed.
Blame Harb.
It was definitely all
So-
Harb's fault. Yes.
It is Harb's fault. But you're completely right though, right? You've recognized like, okay, I don't have Ravage. I'm not super strong right now. At least in terms of team fighting, but what is your hero still super strong at doing? Just right, you can still sit in a lane and just eat space, right? You can just be a wall.
And one question at this point in the game, I'm sitting here, I'm looking at the enemy heroes, I'm looking at my heroes. I think to myself, I don't need to do the damage. I'm gonna go for a mech and mana boots. Is that dumb? Am I playing Tide wrong? I'm not sure.
I think you should just go Blink.
Just
I
go
look
straight
at their
to
team
skip
and
base boost?
I look at their team and I say, if we get the initiation, we will win the fight.
Yeah. Okay.
More or less, right?
Yeah.
We Blink Ravage the
What I
Tinker,
actually do,
win the
yeah.
fight. We Blink Ravage the Jug, probably win the fight. And yeah, you have Lion that will also initiate fight, Lion and Doom, but they're single
They
target.
need some time.
They need time.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
well, this also goes into the Doom timing, right? I feel like you guys had a cool idea, right, of jumping the Tinker, right? That's what you said.
Yep.
Yeah.
But who's buying the items to jump the Tinker?
Everybody else besides me.
I mean, right now nobody is. If you want the
Yeah,
answer,
Yeah.
right? Like we wanted to hit this cool timing. We won all our lanes. We took our lane lead, and we bought items that we couldn't extend our lead with.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So it's a very passive play style, and it's like, it's not playing to win, as Kyle says. If you wanna, you wanna use some of that terminology.
Yeah. It's playing to just play the game more. It's not playing to win.
Yeah, and then they TP Jug, you die down here. That's really not fun.
And so then I'm like, I have
Like, yeah,
Ravage. We should go on mid, and then we feed mid because we're bad at Dota.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Harb's farming tops. He's going here. We have a Cardi. This is good timing. Okay. Yeah, you're definitely feeling the no sustain on Doom right now. You're kind of just being forced out by the Tinker. I think if you went like Hood phase and just ran at the Tinker with a +1, he would just cry. So I think that mostly falls on the support. So Lion sat bottom for a while. He got his level 6. So now we should smoke mid. So if we want to go mid with Ravage, we have to smoke there. Why do we have to smoke there?
We don't have vision there.
Okay.
I mean, we kind of have vision mid, but
No,
go ahead.
we don't have blink daggers. Can't jump them.
We don't have blink daggers, right? Not only that, but like, can we just run in and take the tower versus their team?
Tinker spam.
Absolutely not, right? You guys have played enough Dota to know that you can't just walk into the Tinker. So if we want to do this play, we have to smoke at him. Because if he lives, or we don't kill him, or we don't pressure him, we're just going to die. And I could tell you right now, even though I know you lose this fight now, I could guarantee you lose this fight just off of what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Right? You're running in like the baboons to take this tower because you're like, you have the general idea, right? You're like, okay, we have Ravage.
Execution's off.
Yeah, you have Ravage. That's great. How do we best use Ravage in this case, though?
Smoke gang.
Smoke gank. We don't even have to use Ravage necessarily. We just run in with Lion spells and kill him, right?
Yeah.
So it's just that extra step. Like, you're so close. So you have to think that next step, like, you've all recognized your timing is right now. You have Ravage, like, awesome. How do I best abuse that advantage to get something? And that's kind of the $1 million question to any objective. We following?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So yeah,
This happens.
real feels bad, man.
Just got like lower or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tide. So in my ideal world, if you want the like how I would probably approach this is Tide sits mid. You guys smoke as 3 or 2 around here or around up here, probably up here, and you get a ward down, and then you collapse on this way. And then you Dawnbreaker ulti with Ravage, you kill them. That's what I see in my head.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The reason we put Tide in the front.
I gotta go.
You're good.
But I'll watch any VOD after.
Yeah, I'll put it on YouTube tomorrow probably. You're good. All right. So instead, Sag. What are you doing here?
Feeding.
What are you supposed to do with this skill build?
Farm.
Farm! Go hit creeps! Fucking monkey.
Yeah.
Let the rest of your team feed.
I did say what I was doing.
So, we lose that fight. But Snow, are we starting to understand why the Midas may have been bad?
I think, yeah.
Are we starting to see it play out now? Like we talked about it, we're seeing it now, right?
Yeah, I think it's just. So I mean I agree with the early moves part, but I think the way we built our items, we gotta play a passive way. We tried to do things because we were ahead, but we did not recognize that the items we have do not allow us to do it. We had to put passive.
You are completely correct, and that's why buying greedy items when you're ahead is such an easy trap to fall into, right?
Yeah.
Because you're ahead. What happens when you're ahead? You feel like you can do stuff. What did we itemize to do? Nothing. Wait, we can't do anything. That's weird. What happened?
You know what you said in the start? You'll point out moments when we were not thinking. So, yeah, I wasn't.
Yeah, and you guys said you guys told me you had a plan.
Yeah.
Not only was you said your execution was lacking, which I would agree. Part of that execution is buying the right items to do that plan. So your plan is to blink doom this Tinker. Nobody's even close to a blink dagger at 12 minutes into the game now, so just saying. Just saying.
Sag.
So we no longer have Ravage, so we've kind of lost our lead. So now we kind of have to chill, but that's okay. We kind of have items to play a chill game because we have greedy items. So we can play a farm game until we get our blink daggers. Is what I would approach this next 2 minutes with. Hit our timings here. Doom goes bottom. Sit Tide mid. Luna's happy in the jungle. Oh dear.
You know, they shouldn't run that division there. It's like a weird board. So I would never expect them to just like.
Yeah, you're also.
Play top.
I mean, you're also just not respecting Nyx.
Yeah, that too.
Right, you know they have a Nyx, so you have to be really careful with how far up you go. Alright, so Hugh dies. And honestly, I think the ideal rotation for Luna most games is just here,
Just those two camps in the
here,
jungle.
wave, or maybe wave, farm backwards, and then into the ancients, and then rinse repeat, right?
Yeah.
This camp isn't even needed in most rotations for farming. So happens. So our Tide wound up bottom. Tide should 100% still be mid. He's the super strong one. He's got Ravage. He's got Hood. Luna should be in the triangle. If you want to put a hero bottom, it's either Doom or Lion. Actually, sorry, it's probably Fishy.
Yeah.
Because you're the one with the global ulti, right? It's also on CD, so you're kind of the most useless hero on the map right now. So if you run bottom and push it in, you're transferring your uselessness into something important. Because most heroes don't want to go bottom. Tide can do it, but it feels awkward. So we have hit our Blink Dagger timing. What do we do when we hit power spikes?
Smoke.
Smoke! Yay! Smoking! Don't do drugs, kids. So when we hit a power spike, we want to smoke. Almost every time. Power spikes are... You should treat them as little advantages that you gain. They're very short term, though. So, for example, if you hit a blink timing, you effectively have a more effective net worth than it seems. So if you wanted to put in terms of like a net worth advantage, you almost have like a 2k net worth advantage because now you've gained the ability to initiate. Same with like a BKB timing. So you should treat these advantages super powerfully, super strongly in the game. So they're normally almost always followed up by a smoke of some kind. I'd be very disappointed if we don't smoke here. And it doesn't look like we do, so I'm disappointed.
They're just slow.
They just smoked. Wow. Why did they smoke? I guess they smoked because they have Nyx, but this is an example of a team smoking when they don't have a power spike. What happened?
They got shit on.
They got shafted. They did force Ravage, so I guess that's like a small win for them, but... Wow, their smoke move is going to let us get the mid tower.
And back to farm.
So, yep. When we got our Blink Dagger, I guess for the people that not Harbin Fishy, I like to think of the game in two different phases. I guess three, technically. There's three. There's the I want to run at them phase. Sometimes you have that. There's the we are super scared of them phase. And there's the neutral phase. Normally the neutral phase is accompanied by lots of farming, lots of pushing waves, like nothing crazy. That's like your standard set of Dota. The I want to run at you phase, we were just in it, right? What is that normally accompanied by? Smokes, aggressive moves, team fighting objectives. All of the things that you think about to help you win the game of Dota are normally in that phase. And then lastly, the we are scared phase. That's what happens when you're super behind and you kind of have to like play like really scared, right? Like that kind of goes without saying. So, we'll highlight those as we go through. But big one here, we just use all of our big ultimates. What phase do we think we now go into?
Neutral.
Neutral, absolutely. And this should be a natural thing eventually, but you can consciously think about it to start. So you guys in game say, okay, we have no Ravage, we need to chill. We need to chill means we are shoving lanes down their throat and not letting them get to our objectives. Maybe if somebody's out of position, we can kill them. But for the most part, right, what's the rule? How many waves do you want to ideally have in at any time?
2.
2. So we should always try to have 2 lanes into our advantage at all times. The rest of the game follows after that. So once we get to that point, I'll be happy. So top top needs pushed. Looks like Harb's going there. This mid wave needs pushed. Looks like we are waiting for the camps to spawn. Just go shove mid.
I was scared to go.
You were... So you feel safer here with no vision, no sentries?
Of course, this is a bad example because it died, but
I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm asking you, do you feel safer here?
maybe not.
Probably not. I mean, it's kind of hindsighty, but, you know, I look mid, I'm like, man, you have a sentry, you have a ward, you can put... Let's put it a different way.
Life.
If this lane gets pushed in snow, what happens?
They gotta push it back. They gotta show he doesn't.
Yeah, exactly, right? The lane meets up here, they have to push it back. What can I do in that downtime?
Well, kill those camps. That
Go kill those camps! Exactly! Go shove lanes! Anyways. And we're cool with playing this, like, kind of shove farm game because we have Luna Doom, like, we're still scaling. But we're about to have our ultimates back up. We have double blink, triple blink. Double blink, sorry you don't have blink. And, oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. I don't love that the Doom is not here. I guess you're too far, but
That was my bad. That was
it's okay.
That's not it.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, you got Ravage.
Yeah.
That's rather unfortunate. That's pretty much just not being on the same page.
Yeah, there's a little bit of...
Tide jumped and there was no Doom follow-up, so they just kind of got the reinitiation.
Yeah, we gotta work a lot with that kind of like, communication during team fights.
But I love the idea. Sometimes you misexecute. That's how we learn, right? It happens. Loved the idea. Like, you had all your ultimates, you got to smoke. I'd say if I had one gripe with it, Harb, what's my gripe with this? With
I'm not... That we're under their vision.
we have no vision up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we want to fight, if we want to fight up here, we can smoke up here. And if we see it here, we can get the jump. But we almost always should place a ward.
It's very weird to me that they're, like... Generally, like, they're dire. I don't understand why they want to be playing top. Say.
Well, I
guess
mean,
maybe
they shouldn't
thought
be able
that
to
they
because
wanted
you
to-
should.
yeah.
You're completely right. And it mostly just comes down to if you had a single ward in here, their wards don't matter because you're in the stronger spot for your team. So it'll naturally go in your favor. But because they have the vision advantage, then it kind of neutralizes.
Got
I
it.
think I did end up getting a ward up in the high ground spot there as the fight happened. Like, more towards their base. I think it might have gotten dewarded, though. I think, at least. I think I ended up throwing a ward up there.
Yeah, there's one there.
Yeah,
That's
I got a
that
ward
was
there and
yeah, that was the reason why Indeed initially went, because you got a word of there and then he went, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I love honestly the fact that you get this ward down. I didn't even see you place it, but yeah, that's huge. You just need the rest of your team with you, and then you're good. Yeah. I didn't even see you get the ward down. Perfect. Your
I
ones.
think I might have also fingered the Nyx assassin when it spiked care based on it. I think
Okay, we're just gonna pretend we don't see that part then. Didn't happen.
Your fingers not off.
Oh,
not
okay,
on
cool.
cooldown.
Okay, good.
All right, gotta get cruising here. We're spending too long. I talk a lot. All right, so we don't have our spells, so we just want to shove lanes in. And being bottom is just a death wish, probably, but Ty's gonna do it. Respect. Okay. Maybe it's a death wish for everybody else. Alright, so what's our next big timing in this game?
BKB.
Yeah, PKBs.
Absolutely, we need BKBs. So once we get to BKBs, that'll be the next big time to smoke. When I'm in game, I'm trying. All of us should be talking about what our next big team plays are. So generally the cores, I'm assuming Harb knows just to wait BKB here. Same with Doom. You should be like, I'm going to have BKB soon. We get that and we own, right?
I kind of have a question.
Yeah.
So like, Doom is like 100 gold from BKB, but Harp is like 1,000 gold from BKB.
We wait, my
Like, do,
You
do we
you
wait
wait.
for
You
Harp's
wait.
BKB?
Yeah, you wait.
You wait, my BKB.
Yep. Unless some catastrophic thing happens and you have to smoke right at that second, you wait.
Yeah,
Because-
only reason we're pushing this tower though is because Shaker and Raving are dead, so they're a little bit safer
What
to do
the fuck?
I don't know. We got the tower from that.
I think you got the tower anyways. That was
Yeah.
psychotic. Yeah. I mean, you're just jumping without your team's backup, really. Again, right? You just have to be on... Tide's not a, like, solo ravage, solo kill hero most of the time. He's I jump, and then my team goes in after. So if your team's not ready, then, you know, what are you really doing? This was probably obvious. Let me see. So, what mode are we in right now? So we don't have Ravage.
But also run.
He's dead, right? We're in a 4v5. Our Luna doesn't have BKB, and they have Blink Slam. What mode are we in?
Run.
We're in super scared, I'm gonna go hide mode. When you're in that mode, there are a couple big things that need to happen. The first one is that supports need to be in position to eat smoke ganks. So stand on hills, stand in weird spots. The Blink heroes can do it too, I guess. It's a little scarier, but like the Doom could eat a gank, for example, maybe because he has BKB. But we need to kind of... The idea behind playing scared is that the expendable heroes form like a weird wall around our carry. So, for example, Harb is farming bottom, right?
Mm-hmm.
How we want to position our heroes in such a way that if they were to try to smoke at him, we would either break it and live, or support breaks it and dies, right? That's the ideal outcome. Or I guess nobody dies, but that generally doesn't happen. So do we see where what I'm saying? Like, like for example, the Lion, if the Luna's farming over here, the Lion could stand here. Or further up and maybe eats a gank or something, right? Then somebody stands over here. Somebody's like farming mid, maybe it's our Doom. I guess it's a little scary, but you see where I'm going. That's what needs to happen when we're in that scared mode. The focus will always shift to whoever needs to farm the most. So in this case, it's obviously Luna, because she needs to get his BKB, right? So you give him bottom, you give him that free farm. You guys clump around like mid this area here, and you just... If the enemy runs into you, somebody dies, you run away, like so be it. Luna gets his BKB, you're happy. What instead happens... He dies 100 gold from it. And then they get Roche because he dies. So... We need to constantly be thinking in the game, what mode are we in, right?
Yeah.
It can be hard, I think, sometimes to be in between, or to like recognize where we are in the game. But there's a lot of obvious spikes, right? If you hit an item timing, you're in the run at them mode, right? If you just use your big ultimates and they've all respawned, what mode are you in?
Hide.
They died though. You used all your spells and they died.
Oh,
we're mode push.
We're mode push. They've respawned. We're back to neutral, right?
Yeah.
What happens if we use all our spells and they kill us?
Well, we are dead. We are.
Well, some of you are dead. What about when you respawn?
Run.
We're in this play scared mode, right?
Yeah.
So these general conceptions of the game apply to most of the time, where you're like, okay, we're down a hero. We don't have Ravage. We obviously can't fight. So let's just play chill, like play the safest areas. Maybe somebody eats a smoke. Just like chill out, you know. Play a little more scared than normal. But that's what I want you guys ideally to be constantly gauging. And it's not one player at a time, right? You can all be constantly assessing where in the game you are, and that will help you identify the general moves you should be making, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we just talked about we should be in scared mode. So you would say that this smoke is bad then, right?
Well, what's different now?
We have
I mean,
all of our ultimates.
You have all your
they don't
ultis now,
have
right?
their ultimates.
You have all your
They do.
ultis. You have Luna BKB.
But they have ages though.
They have Aegis, so this is like a gray area, right? Like,
Yeah.
I might say maybe we can't fight into Aegis. Somebody else says we can fight into Aegis. It's pretty much dependent on if you get the jump on Tinker, more or less. Like, if you catch him with the Ravage, you kill him, then you can probably still take the fight. But it's hard. So instead we take the kill. Okay. Okay. Weird.
Yeah.
Weird. We smoked with our power timings and we got some kills. Weird shit, guys. Wild stuff. Wild stuff. Oh my god, my game. Just absolutely wow. I can't believe this is happening. Maybe we got a little rambunctious going for the jug, but I mean, hey. Got the Aegis
Yeah,
pretty
it-
much like with Doom died, but
Worth.
that's what happens when you abuse your item timings, right? We're kind of seeing it come together.
Mm.
So we need more of that. More of that recognition. The recognition is the first step. Once we're consistently recognizing it, comes the next part, which we'll start working on after, right?
Yeah.
This game's gonna... How long is this game?
Long. I think it goes like 50 plus minutes.
Oh my god, Jesus fucking Christ. Alright, we're gonna go to the next game.
Yeah. I mean, after,
Understandable.
yeah, after this
But
is just-
so it's the same process goes for the rest of the game. The complexity level also increases because you factor in Roches, Aegis, maybe there's extra BKBs, right? But the same. Go ahead.
Other question is like, so I know Snow was saying this like after the game. He was like, we were having trouble finding the Tinker towards the end of the game, and so he would just drop the Doom on Chug. Do you think it's?
Did you go
worthwhile
Shivas?
just,
yes. After BKB, I went Shivas.
do you think it's worthwhile just holding the Doom for when the Tinker does actually show
Yeah.
himself?
Eventually,
So-
if you don't do him, you can't fight.
So what do I do in Tinker? Like, Tinker blink. I mean, he TP boots on someone and then blinks to some location that I don't see. Like, do I just keep hiding while he's rocketing people? Like,
Yeah, you kind of just have to be patient. As shitty as it sounds, like, what's the worst thing you could do?
I guess Doom next one, Carapace.
The worst thing. Okay, well that is quite bad. Yeah, but like that's not like
Doom gets stolen.
And
the
Doom-
worst thing you could do is preemptively make a bad jump.
Yeah.
Right? And in your gut, you're saying, I have to Doom the Tinker. Then just hold the Doom until you get that opportunity. But once you get that opportunity, your team has to be in there with you. Right? You get that Blink Doom on him, your team is full go.
Yeah.
So it's very communication based, but it's also just being patient. I don't remember which one I did.
I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Use the restroom.
Fuck. Okay. Is this wrong?
What happened?
My
No, it's play demo. Play demo. There you go. It's yeah, that one. Fucking Viper offlane pickers and King scrims.
All right, we gotta go fast. I gotta go soon, but we can cruise through this. They pick Tiny. That's a strange opener to me.
The tree snap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what to go with, to be honest.
I mean, it's like it's just like the. If you wanted to pick a support duo, it's just a strange support duo to have, right? They kind of do the same thing, is my point.
I see that. Okay.
We picked Necro. They picked Wind. Okay, bit of a weird Wind game. They picked Skyrath.
Yeah, Sky mid.
Okay, so we know it's Viper offlane.
Yep.
You pick Jug.
The Jug, yeah. What with the Jug?
Man, I'm so smart. Yeah, don't hate it. Good lane. Not super great versus Tiny, but your options are kind of limited, so what can you do?
No, that guy didn't know how to play Tiny, in my opinion, so... But hate Viper.
Alright, so pretty standard starting items here. Fishy started Blight.
Just because I'm versus Tiny.
Yeah.
Might as well just better.
No, I think it's fine. I mean, I think this is also fine. Like, I could see both being good. I can honestly see all three of your spells being fine, so. Bottom lane, so big thing to recognize is what style of lane do you want to play? Do you want to play this, like, is it a kill lane? Is it a sustain lane? Like, what kind of lane is it?
I'm pretty sure it's a kill lane. I think it's a kill lane.
Huh?
I think we can kill, but I think more.
What does Necro want to do, Harb?
You know, hit creeps.
He wants to fucking sustain. Right? What's the worst thing that you're a carry player.
True.
When you lane against Necro, what's your worst nightmare?
I
When
mean,
you
my
sit-
worst nightmare, generally speaking, playing against Necro is just getting hit over and over again.
Yeah, and why can he do that?
Kills me.
Why can he hit you over and over again?
Because he has Death Pulse.
He has Death Pulse, and he has Heartstopper.
Yeah.
Right? His regen is crazy. It's like,
green
yeah.
heroes, so I don't pay attention to that stuff all that much.
So he is a sustain-based hero, which means
Yeah.
anytime you take HP trades will be in your favor. Just naturally because of how Necro works. So that when you play lanes with like these kinds of heroes, you should keep that in mind.
Got it.
It means harass is more valuable. You can be a little more aggressive in your trading. Like, there's a lot of things that factor into it. So, this probably was an Oov lane, in my opinion.
Alright.
Because I think if you guys if you have Oov plus Nature's Grasp on this Viper, he is dead. With a spin. Probably.
Alright.
Yeah. That's my opinion. I also think that I think level 2 Leech Seed may have been worth it, but I could see Living Armor too, so. No flame there. Just my thought. Right, I think what's your thinking going into this lane, I guess is my thought.
try
Like-
try to sustain as best as we
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, like
And
I went
if
the
we
living
have a-
armor.
Yeah,
So
and if we have a potential to kill, like we go for it. But otherwise, like we're trying to just like live through the lane. Because regardless, like I'm a juggernaut, I'm gonna out farm a viper because this guy went fucking max poison attack.
Oh, that's what you're
So-
supposed to do. It kicks you out of lane.
Yeah. Except on the jug, I have healing.
So, I'm trying to think of how to word that. What is the strength of Treant as a hero in lane?
he bodies people.
He
It's hard.
bodies people, right?
Mhm.
Viper. What is Viper's biggest weakness in lane?
He's slow as fuck.
He's slow as fuck. He can't really protect himself if you go on him, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I would be approaching this lane with the mentality of, if this Viper ever walks up, we're just going to cast our spells on him and he's going to die. Right? Imagine if you just walked up to him. I guess it's hard right in this current lane position, but like, imagine if you just walked up, you Nature's Grasp him, and you start punching the shit out of him with a spin on top. What's he going to do?
He has
Nothing.
to run.
Right? Like, where's he going to run to? He's a Nature's Grasp. He's got 275 movement
He's gotta
speed.
Try and run.
He's going to fucking die. Right?
Yeah.
And you guys, I'm certain that when I started telling you that, you were like, oh, he's right, right? Like, you know this.
Yeah.
But did we think about it before the lane started?
I think we kind of thought.
Maybe you
about
kind of thought
but
about
not
it,
really.
but not to the extent that we are now.
Yeah.
That's my point. Okay. Glad we got that. And this is how you rush bottle. I can get raindrops ASAP. Yeah, he's got it. Oh wait, he died. Nice job. Yeah. See? Yes. Perfect. Yeah, we can get you can get kills down here, absolutely. But like, you can also just whittle him down, right? That's kind of the reason you pick Necro into Tiny, anyways, is to play this like whittling him down game. So. Okay. Fish is fucking dead. Holy shit.
Happens.
Yeah, it looks like you were too far from your jug. So this is like, yeah. It's like, it's kind of awkward, right? Because now he has boots, and you don't really have any way to, like, be aggressive back, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's rough. I still think if you start, even if he has boots, I think if you oove him with a Nature's Grasp and a Leech Seed, he still can't do anything.
Okay.
Because he's just, like, the boots can only do so much, is my point. So I think that there's a lot of times that you can be aggressive, but this is another lane that you have to play near your jug, right? If you get caught out alone, what's going to happen?
I'm gonna die.
You're going to die, right? Look what just happened, right? You just got
Mhm.
bushwhacked into right clicks. Nothing you can do. So you want to approach the lane you want to threaten aggressive potential as often as you can. You don't always have to do it, but you should always be like, oh, can we maybe go now? Can we maybe go now? Like, ooh, maybe if I go over here, we can go now, right? You see what I'm like, where I'm going? Like,
Yeah.
like even right now, like, I'd be like, ooh, maybe we can go. Like,
He's too far up here.
he's fucking, he should be fucking
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah,
This gun is dead on my screen.
dead.
He is dead on my screen. So we're just not really. You guys just really. You like your bottom lane's owning. Our top lane's not really abusing our what the
Yeah, we
strength
should
of
be
our
cru-
lane is,
yeah,
right?
We should be crushing them. 'Cause the Viper can't just run away from us at all.
Yeah.
I got really annoyed here later in the lane. Hoodwink got. I was on the other side of the lane, and then Hoodwink got a bushwhack off, and it somehow hit me.
That's very sad.
Yeah. That was a kill on the Viper.
Fishy, the one thing I would try and do is when you play with a hero like Necro is make sure you have your large camp.
Yeah, I definitely should have.
Right, definitely. Because, I mean, can they really kill your Necro right now?
They shouldn't be able to.
No, unless indeed fucks up catastrophically. But you can just chain pull, and then if the tiny tries to walk up, you go on him. It's a very, very simplistic approach.
Yeah. I guess my thought was we just should win the trade war.
I mean, you do,
But I guess we could win it even harder.
right? You win the trade war. So, like, Yippee down here is fine for your Necro. Is like, okay, he's still farming, right?
Yeah, but it's way
But what happens when the lane's back here and you win the trade war?
we just killed them.
You just kill that. Like, they literally can't walk up.
If you win this game, I will do better as well. Let's go.
Hold on. My Twitch just started watch streams. Okay, we're good. Okay, we go bottom here on wind. This definitely seems really forced. Yeah. Is Snow back?
Yeah.
Okay. Number one rule of mid. You don't gank without boots. Just keep that in your head. Like I just watched you walk all the way bottom without boots and then dive the tower.
I mean, I'll tell you why. So I got my javelin. I have level 6.
Sure. Okay, so let me ask you a question, because obviously you're right. You got javelin. Maybe you want to find a kill. Do you think the time invested for you to run all the way bottom and dive the tower into a Skywrath is worth it?
No. I mean, if I die, then of course not. So, I mean, I guess my question is, if I rush javelin, should I wait for my boots?
Yes,
before
wait for
I-
your boots.
Yeah.
And maybe a rune.
Okay.
So your rotations as heroes like Wind should be natural. And this is going to be a very like weird thing to say, but a gank should feel like it's a natural move for you, right? When this was happening, did you not feel like it was kind of forced?
Yeah.
Right, you generally like you kind of have this inkling. You're like, maybe this is really forced. Like, do I really have to do this? Like, a forced play is almost always just bad. Because it means you're trying to do something that your hero isn't naturally good at doing right now. That's all. Another big thing is it doesn't seem like you factored in too much about who the enemy mid is, right? If you gank bottom, do they have a mid that's going to counter gank?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So that should raise your hesitancy level in doing these kinds of plays. So, no boots, no rune, they have a ganking mid, like, all those factors, I'm like, okay, don't do that.
Yep.
Right? And we see it now, right? We played out. You got slowed under tower, you had no boots, you died.
Got the tiny though.
Got the tiny, died 3 for 1. I don't know. So yeah, I would... and it's weird. A hero like Wind is really awkward because your like early timings are weird. You almost always want to play off runes and then counter rotations, in my opinion. You TP out, you TP'd out.
Yeah.
So you went 2-1 because you wanted to defend the lane, I imagine, right?
Yeah.
2-1, you're going to go maxed QE, that's fine. We get the tower bottom eventually, thank God for Fishy. See, this is a pretty natural rotation, right? Why is this one so much more natural?
So I have boots and a room.
You have boots, but what's the other big factor? It's a quick kill. right?
Yeah, Skyrath can't.
You hit the shackle,
fast enough.
you hit the shackle, you get the spin, he's instantly dead, right? Is there time for a counter rotation?
No.
No. So that's why that gank feels good. So that's another factor that you need to, kind of look into when you make plays is like, okay, can we kill him fast enough for rotations? So landing stage is kind of breaking down here. Sag. The Jug ideally is going to sit in our top jungle. Yep, he's not an ancient farmer. So this is the only awkward part about the Trant pick is with the Jug is that like Jug wants to sit top anyways. So your hero's kind of just doing absolutely nothing right now.
Should I have gone bottom then in this situation, or like regardless?
Yeah. I'm thinking. It mostly depends on what Harb wants to do. If Harb wants to stay top, I would leave him. He's a when your carry is self-sufficient, it's almost always better to just leave him and let him do his thing.
Okay.
You're pretty much just taking his experience at this point.
All right.
So your hero would be better off going bottom, getting wards up here, like playing in this general bottom area. You can maybe sit mid if your mid wants to give you that lane, like anywhere else, really. Like the world is your oyster right now with the map,
Except top.
except top.
All right.
Keep top.
And the reasoning makes sense, right? Like, does your carry need you up here?
No.
No. So go do something else.
I think I told him he could leave as well. I don't remember
think-
though.
Yeah, I end
Yeah.
up coming mid here because they keep pressuring the middle lane.
Yep, I think you going mid is perfectly fine. Okay, but maybe that seemed forced, but okay. Happens. Alright, there's a good time to talk about heroes like Necro. So what is a hero like Necro after the landing stage now? What is he really great at?
Taking space.
Taking space. What does he mean by taking space? Someone else.
Just you can't really kill him.
Yeah, he's great at sitting in an area and being unkillable, right? Kind of like Tide, right? He's just a kind of a different version of Tide, if we think about it.
Okay.
So, when we play with heroes like Necro, what do we have to do? In terms of where he's playing. Does he want to be the one jungling?
No.
No.
Absolutely
He
not.
wants to be shoving it lane.
He should be posted up in lanes. So, in my honest opinion, the Wind Ranger being mid is a grief. I think he should be bottom. And the Necro should just be camping mid. You post up mid here. You have a sentry down. You have a hood. Like, it's really hard for them to kill you.
You just vibe.
You just vibe. You can have your treant sit behind you with heals. Like, it's a good time. Then, while that's happening, if they go on you, now what happens mid?
We all TP and kill them.
Yeah, your treant ultis, you TP in with your other cores, you kill them. And you can see as a result, right, that thinking, that they're going to be ideally thinking about that as well. Like, oh, if we go on the Necro, can we kill him in time?
They're probably thinking, yeah, because they have Skyrath.
Maybe. And, like, maybe he's right. But that also requires you probably copping a Nick stun or something, right? You have a sentry, so you should feel pretty safe. My point is that Wind has nowhere to be right now.
Yeah.
Right? He has a Maelstrom, but, like, I guess this is your best option is to, like, smoke around, but, like, you just smoked into nothing. So we see the point, though, right? Like, he didn't... I like the idea of smoking with the Wind Ranger. If our Necro was posted up mid, we could just smoke and run top. Or we could smoke around mid, right? We have more options.
Okay.
Instead, he feels obliged to def the mid wave because nobody else is here. Do we see? Yeah, we see that now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was very confused there because Skyrath ulted the and silenced the tree instead of me.
Good rotation, though.
Oh, yeah.
This was a great smoke, right? Who is our strong hero?
Wind Ranger and Necro.
Who's the hero that's unkillable?
It's the Juggernaut.
The Juggernaut is the strong hero now.
Okay.
He's had a free. That's a hard one to notice. I'm not even like I would have been impressed if you guys got it right, but why is Jug our strong hero here?
I have BKB.
Sure. Why else?
Omni Slash.
Omni Slash. Okay. Why else?
Healing Ward, and I'm under tower too.
What about our other heroes? Are our other heroes? I guess Necro is the exception, but our other three heroes,
They're pretty squish.
what is the strength of a hero like Wind or Snapfire?
Pick off potential.
Pick off potential, right? If they go on our Jug, if they go on our Jug and we're here, what happens? They die. If Jug is not here and they go on the Wind, what happens?
Wind dies.
The Wind dies, right? Before you guys get there. So you rotate to the Jug because they're going to be top. You know they're top. And if they try to kill him, then you just kill them. That's why this move feels so nice. Not that you have to think that. I don't even think it through that hard when I'm in game, but that's the full reasoning. And then you go right back. Yeah, I love this. The only problem is that our Necro is now stranded top, so he actually has to sit up here. It's actually your job to TP bottom now.
Oh, okay.
That's why this feels so awkward.
Sedge.
It's not Sedge. So, because your
No, I
Necro,
prefer
your Necro can hold top, and you're gonna get. I would TP bottom anyways. What the fuck?
I was taking like 2 stacked camps. I think I TP'd down there.
Oh, this is so sad. Somebody please. Okay, thank God.
There's a stack though.
I
Not
think
bad.
you're actually at the point where I think the Jug has to be the one in front of your towers. And this is a question you should always think about is, who defends our towers, who stands in front of them. It's almost always the hero that is the hardest to commit onto. So, it's pretty easy for them to commit onto Necro this game, right?
Yeah.
Like they have Sky, they have Poison, or they have Nick Stun, Mana Burn, Ava Toss. Like they have a lot of magic. Is it easy to go on Jug?
No.
No, not this game. Right? Spin is
As long as I see them.
Spin is immunity. So in game, we actually need to recognize that Jug is the one that defends our towers with Treant, and Wind, Necro are in the side lanes now. Because it's kind of swapped, right? Our Necro's died. He's maybe a little behind. He's not tanky enough to sit in front of towers, so. Crazy. Yeah. Yeah, we get a kill. We go back to farming. 2k gold lead now. The Wind should just go back bottom.
I thought we had catapults.
Okay, I see it. Yeah, you guys can maybe just push with Cardi. It's with Jug, yeah, especially if Jug's here.
Necro went a little bit far up there.
Yeah, a tad far. If that's Jug, I think that's fine. Like, I actually think when you play this kind of hero and you feel invincible, you actually just need to play like a madman.
I mean, I was planning on like farming my way there, but then Indeed walked up, and it was just a miscommunication as to what we wanted to
Okay,
do.
yeah, it happens.
But when
So
when he died there, I'm like, well,
something that supports can do. These last 20 seconds or so, we've had a little bit of downtime, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Wind's going to come take mid farm. What is something a support could do to impact the map that's not sitting mid right now?
Stacks.
That's
Ward.
one option. Current time, though. It's not stack time.
Ward.
smoke up in the middle
Sure.
of the board.
Smoke, ward. All decent answers. What about this lane? What's going on up here?
Someone should push that out.
Nothing's going on up here, right?
Yep.
So, probably the 4, Fishy, you could just walk up here. And notice I say walk, don't TP. You walk up here and just come push us in. If something happens mid, then you TP in. But we know our Jug's bottom. Our Wind's going to take mid. Our Necro's respawning. So he doesn't want to go top, though. He kind of has to go mid now. So you can just walk top and shove that for free. Instead, our Necro goes top. This feels really bad. He's kind of just a creep at this point in this top lane, so... yeah. And maybe it's fine that he plays up here if he plans on just farming, I guess, but that feels really bad. Oh, we're so close to BKB. Just farm, bro. Or wait for your Jug, either or. I think you were a bit ahead.
Yeah.
I think this play works if it's 30 seconds later and Jug is here. Straight up. So. If you don't have BKB though and win, you gotta just chill out, you know? They got so much magic damage. So I think we're making a lot of close to right moves. I think a big thing for you guys is going to be playing together a little bit more, coordinating your moves. It feels like every move you make, one person is just jumping the gun just a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just getting on that same page will be super helpful. Overall, I think the map gets played relatively correctly. The big thing for me is our heroes in the right spots. I place a lot of emphasis on that because I think when you have a player like Harb, who he's pretty good at playing super efficiently, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when another player is out of position, it makes his game super awkward, and it's like this cascading effect. To the point where now your Necro is top, and he's a creep. So that's all I'm trying to say. So need to be consciously thinking. I think a couple big things if we want, for your next games or scrims or whatever is ideally we're consciously thinking about our current game state. Are we farming? Or are we playing a neutral game? Are we farming? Are we shoving lanes? Are we playing a run at them game? Did we hit a timing? Are we smoking? What are we getting off this timing? And if we're playing scared, who's taking that limited farm? How are we protecting them? Yeah, I think those are all super good. I think paying close attention to what heroes need to be in front of objectives is also a big thing to focus on. Okay. All right. I gotta bounce here in a second. So, any last minute questions though? Lot to absorb. It's a lot to absorb.
Is there any is it the heroes that we were playing against there that I should have gone Uv, or is it the heroes we were or the heroes that they were that I should be going Uv?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I think it's recognizing you're playing Jug Treant, right? That hero has obscene damage early. It has crazy kill threat, right?
Yeah.
And if you have Nature's Grasp on the Viper, we already talked about it, right? He can't move. Nothing that I said isn't information that you knew before the lane, though. So just taking that information, like, what do I do with it? What do I buy with it, right? Just that's like that one extra step, right?
All right.
And that's kind of where I'm talking about, like, are we consciously thinking about our items? Are we consciously thinking about where we're playing on the map, where we're making moves, right? it starts with your items, your first items. Like, do they reflect what you want to do? But for me, I don't have a problem if you guys plan out something. You want to say you think you want to play a specific way, right? If you plan it out and you build for it and you fuck up or you know it doesn't work out, like that's a learning experience. So like that's valuable knowledge that you've gained because you tried something together, it didn't work. Now you can improve on that for next time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's kind of like what I tell their fluffy hat team. It's apes together strong. So, make sure we're all on the same page doing the same thing.
Alright.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. I will